Scotty Wilbanks is probably most known, at least in present day, for being the keyboardist for Third Day. But let me give to you a few accolades that God has blessed him with. He comes back to Truett exactly 25 years after he barely graduated from Truett-McConnell College. And if you want to see how God uses the ordinary to do the extraordinary, two-time Grammy nominated, multi-Dove Award winning record producer, 9 gold records, 3 platinum records, 30 number 1 singles, playing both for Third Day and New Song, been featured on The Tonight Show, is part of the Georgia Music Hall of Fame. Scotty, I'm not sure I should add this to it, but it's here. His song has been played on America's Top Model. I have the embarrassment of telling you I've had to watch America's Top Model a few times. It's been played on the Christian show MTV's Real World, which is not a Christian show. But it's also been Crazy Faith is most recently featured on a wonderful movie that we've watched called The War Room. But let me tell you why he is here today, why we asked him to be the commencement speaker, the graduation speaker. It's not merely what the Lord's done in his life, but more importantly, what he's poured into other people's lives. What he loves to do most is a record producer and produce those who just need that helping hand. They have all the talent in the world, but they don't have the name recognition yet, and he's able to give them a platform. Those are American Idol runner-ups like Clay Aiken or top 10 finalists like Colton Dixon. His fingerprints have been on bands like Need to Breathe, Seventh Time Down, Matt Maher, John Waller, Family Force 5, J.J. Weeks Band, and on. His studio, based right here in Atlanta, is called the Rockporium. He graduated from Truett-McConnell, 1991, and then the University of Georgia, where he barely graduated as well. And then he received the Young Alumni Award because we couldn't find anybody else back then. No, we're done. Most importantly in his life, Scotty's married to Dee Dee, been his wife for 18 years. 3 children, Levi, Lucy, and Boston. They are educating their kids in the ways of the Lord and raising up a generation right from their home. And so would you join me in welcoming Scotty Wilbanks to be our speaker?
Well, I guess it's too late to go to the bathroom then, right? I mean, I wanted to go a minute ago, and then I thought, well, I really don't have to go. My wife kept telling me I should go, but then I didn't listen, so here we are. I mean, wow. I'd like to thank Dr. Canner and his team and everyone who has worked to make this day possible. You guys are rock stars. Let me start off, first of all, with an apology to the English department for all the grammatical mess that I'm about to say up here, and I don't know who's that. But I'm not perfect. I definitely ain't a speaker, and but I can assure you that I've planned this speech with much strategery. And but really, it's great to be back here after all these years. I've always had a special bond with Truett-McConnell College. I mean, the first time I came here was in 1988. It was a way different place back then. It looked different. I mean, when we pulled into the main entrance back then, there was no guard shack, whatever that thing is. And it looked way different. I mean, well, actually, the place pretty much looks exactly the same. I mean, I don't know what you're doing here, but get to work. I had the wonderful privilege last night of staying on campus with my beautiful wife, Dee Dee, this pretty little hot blonde down here on the front. And it was awesome. I mean, man, you guys treated us so great. You put us up in this beautiful, cozy place, this romantic getaway. I mean, do you guys even know there's such a place like this on campus? I mean, it was amazing. It was like, gosh, there was a hot tub on the deck and a waterfall in the backyard and mints on the pillows and like strawberries and chocolate. And we were just thinking, this is amazing. until I heard Dr. Cantor yelling at me to get out of his house. I was like, then he had the security dude come escort us down to our room. You know, the little room which had like a bunk bed and a desk in it. But the community shower was killer. Oh my gosh. You know, but it's a weird place. I don't know if you've been in there. I mean, you walked into this little room and there's like pictures of your president, Dr. Cantor, on the walls. There's pictures of him in the bathroom. There's like this picture of him on the nightstand. I mean, dude, that picture of you in those pink pajamas, bro? And he had hair in some of them. I barely recognized him. I mean, wow. It was a really cool place. But it was great to reminisce and to show my wife around Truett-McConnell. I mean, it was way better than 25 years ago. At least this time I had a girl in my room, right? Where's my drummer? Give it to me, man. Anytime you want to do that, it's down with me, man. Don't let daddy down. Won't nobody like that but the people, man. Just give it to them. But to be honest, when I got the invitation, I was really honored and touched. I mean, how cool after all these years to stand up here and have this unique opportunity, especially considering the fact that back when I was here, President Fulbright pretty much threatened to kick me out of this joint. But I ended up staying. And I've taken this job as, to be your speaker today, I've taken it real serious. I'm being honest. I've treated this speech much like the term papers I wrote during my time here. I waited to the last dadgum minute. I started writing this puppy late last night after me and my wife partied karaoke night over there at J.W. Reed's restaurant and shut the place down. But seriously, what an honor to be here on a special day in the life of Truett-McConnell University. Big congrats. You did it. Awesome. And saying that I'm the speaker at a university definitely has a nice ring to it. And to be honest, I don't even know what that means, like college to university. I have no idea. But man, congratulations. It is awesome. And I am now the speaker at a university. So I'm pumped about it. And when Dr. Cantor asked me if I would consider even speaking here today, I'm pretty sure my response was something like, dude, are you crazy? Are you serious? And his response was, yes, I am absolutely crazy. And I am dead serious. And so I've really thought about this a good bit. What does this mean and what does this say about me? I mean, does this mean I'm old? Does it mean, hey, look at this dude, if he can make it, then you guys are gonna rock? I mean, is it like, man, no one else was available that actually possesses a knowledge, wisdom, and a real job? Or was I just your last choice? I mean, it was probably all the above, I'm guessing, I don't know. But you've had so many great speakers through the years. Guys like Dan Cathy, the president of Chick-fil-A, the gospel bird. I mean, come on, people. They're gonna serve that mess in heaven. And then people like Charles Stanley, the legend, former governor Sonny Perdue, and now me, 2016, Scotty Wilbanks, some dude that's been playing in rock bands for his whole life, playing Leonard Skinner covers like Sweet Home Alabama and Freebird. I mean, let's face it, people, that's what you still want to hear, right? Because every night when I'm on stage, some dude in the back's going, play Freebird! So I start playing Freebird. And people love it, and it's great. Well, I just want to say you're really dadgum lucky I could work this into my schedule, because I have some amazing amazing advice for you today, which I've pulled from my many years of rich and crazy life experiences. So here it is. My advice to you is this: go out and be a rock star, because it's really awesome. And I think most people have always looked at me as a professional musician, but honestly, I've always considered myself, a little bit more the motivational speaker guy. I mean, let's get real, man. One look at me and you're gonna be motivated to do anything else. You know what I'm talking about? 25 years, what a ride it's been. I totally feel like I'm the Forrest Gump of Truett-McConnell College. Or like on a reality TV show in another country, and right now in Japan, they're tripping out over this. I mean, so many crazy experiences, and I've ended up in some bizarre places and met all kinds of people. Being the speaker at a college graduation has never, and I mean never, ever crossed my mind. But here I am with you guys today, and I'm blessed and I'm grateful to be here. I mean, heck, at my age, I'm grateful to be anywhere. I just want to take a few minutes and tell you some of my story and how I ended up here at Truett-McConnell. I'm from Maysville, Georgia. Anybody ever heard of Maysville, Georgia? Give it up. I mean, that's Podunk right there. That's small. That place is like the size of this parking lot out here. What, brother? Okay. My man's from Maysville. And I graduated Commerce High School at 17 years old. I wanted to be a United States Marine. That's what I wanted to do. But it didn't work out because I was underage when I graduated, and my parents basically weren't going to sign a release form. My mom was like, my brothers went to Vietnam and you're not going. So I was stuck. I had to make some decisions, and my parents said, man, you got to get out of here, so figure something out. So what happened was I basically made a last-minute decision to enroll and take advantage of this scholarship opportunity I'd been offered by Truett-McConnell College, and I'm glad I did. I showed up right in the fall of 1988, and I moved into Garrison Hall right down there. Who's in Garrison? Right on? All right, I was in room 1, first room on the left, right there, bottom floor. Anybody been in there? It better be boys only. All right, nobody's, okay, whatever. I met my roommate, Scott Davis, never forget it. Still friends with Scott Davis today. Had barbecue with him just the other night. I remember being excited and a little nervous about this new adventure in my life and really had no idea what to expect, but I knew it had to be better in high school because, man, I'm telling you, being a dude who plays piano and saxophone in a football town, well, let's just say I wasn't the ladies' first choice. You know what I'm talking about, bro. You know what I'm talking about, right? Hey, brother, it gets better, man. See that wife down there? You're gonna be okay, brother. Oh, man. Right? So, it's all right, buddy. You'll be all right. So, after finding my dorm, meeting my roommate, getting all my junk loaded in, and by junk, I mean saxophones, keyboards, my sound system, and a lot of Dr. Pepper, I hugged my parents and sent them down the road back to the house. Well, I felt free. Totally free. Free as a bird, just like Skinner would say, free bird. So like any young man entering a new world, I got my 1979 Buick Regal with T-tops, which I still have. And I set out to explore this new great land they call Truett-McConnell College, our university now. Well, that took all about 6 or 7 minutes, which is really all the time I needed before reaching the conclusion that much like Forrest Gump, I'm not a smart man, but dadgum, these chicks are hot, and I'm thinking I'm liking this place, so I'm gonna stay put for a little while. And I sat exactly where you're sitting 25 years ago. Time flies. Yep, in this very room. It's hard to believe, and I know most of you are probably looking at me thinking, man, that dude don't look a day over 25. Or maybe that's just me thinking that. But I'm 45 now. I've got 3 kids, Levi, Lucy, and Boston. I live in the suburbs, and I've gone to great lengths to drive a minivan. I'm living the dream. I remember some of my graduation day, but I'd been up a lot and not had much sleep, so I wasn't really paying much attention to the old dude speaking. Hey, dude, like you, wake up, brother. Give me some help, man. I see you, man. And the sad news is that the guy next to him is wearing a kilt. That's even better. You're rocking it, man. Keeping it real. The sad news is I don't even remember who spoke at my graduation. I just remember thinking, man, when is this guy going to be done and when is this going to be over? So you know what? A lot of you probably aren't going to remember me. I'm cool with that. But hopefully somehow I can leave you with some inspiration that you can carry with you along your journey. Let's get to it. Hey, things are about to get real. Life's about to happen. Things are about to change. Adulthood is getting ready to swing hard in your direction, and there's nothing you can do about it. Adulthood is like looking both ways before you cross the street and being smacked by an airplane. It's true, right, people? Adults, give me some amens or something. Help a daddy. Amen. You may not be feeling today exactly how you thought you'd be feeling. You know that uncertainty you might be feeling today, or that fear of the unknown, or that, oh crap, what have I done and what am I going to do and what's next kind of feeling? Yeah. Well, we've all felt it, and guess what? It doesn't go away. Or if it does, it doesn't take long before it pops its head back up again. So just remember this. If you're feeling alone, you're not alone. If you feel overwhelmed or isolated or stuck, just reach out for support. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself right here, right now, in this single monumental moment in your life is to decide without apology to commit to the journey and not to the outcome. So many people are caught up in looking for guarantees instead of opportunities. They want success, and instant results. Just remember, you're going to make choices every day in your life. Some things are going to go your way and some are not. Trust me, I've heard lots of no's throughout my career. And honestly, every week feels like I'm trying to swim upstream and just keep my head above water. But remember, a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Commit to the journey, my friend. Stay at it, and don't be afraid to work. I've never been the best or the most talented, but that's never stopped me from doing my best. You see, hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. Some of you may not want to hear this, but I'm telling you it's the truth. You cannot climb the ladder to success with your hands in your pocket. Ain't gonna happen. Don't be afraid to get busy, get to work, make it happen. In this amazing world we live in is crazy. It's so different than when I was here. When I was here, there's no internet, there was no cell phones. You know, we walked to class every day in the snow, whatever. But today, you can Google for an answer. You can Google for a mate. You can Google for a career. Heck, you can even Google yourself. Look me up sometime. But you cannot Google for the one thing that makes you happy. You cannot Google to find your calling. Your calling isn't something that somebody can tell you about. It's what you feel. It's a part of your life force. It's the one thing that gives you juice, that lights your fire, makes you happy, makes you smile. It's that thing that you were supposed to do, and nobody can tell you what that is. You know it inside yourself. For me, it was music, and I couldn't escape it. You see, it wasn't like a jacket I could take off at the end of my workday and just throw in a closet and pick back up when I wanted to. It was not a briefcase I could just leave at the front door and pick back up the next morning. It was in my DNA. It was who God created me to be, and I couldn't run from it, and I couldn't escape it, and I still can't. What is that for you? Who did God create you to be? I know you've probably heard this before, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's kind of cliche or whatever. But don't be afraid to dream. No matter where you're at in your journey, here's the kicker. You see, dreams don't have an age. Thank the Lord. Don't ever stop dreaming, and don't ever stop believing in yourself, even when people tell you no, which I've been told so many times. Let me tell you a little bit about my journey. 1970, boom, I was born. Skip forward 8 years, I started playing the piano. 10 years old, I joined the school band, started playing the saxophone. Then I picked up other instruments and singing along the way. I grew up a good old Southern Baptist boy, and when I was a teenager, I even got banned from the First Baptist Church. They wouldn't let me play the pianos in there anymore. They told me not to do it, so we left, of course. A lot of good that did. I've built the majority of my career on being a multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter kind of guy, which to you may sound, not really unusual or out of the ordinary, but for me, it was insane. It was like something from another planet. It was totally out of the ordinary. You see, I didn't come from a musical family at all. I didn't grow up in a big city or have hipster parents. Heck, my parents raised me on Southern gospel, sweet tea, the WWF, and hee-haw. My daddy was a meat cutter, and my mama vaccinated chickens down to chicken plant until she eventually got a better job at a book distribution center. You're starting to get the picture how music didn't really make a lot of sense. They didn't play instruments, they didn't sing. I felt kind of foolish even thinking that I could ever do a career in music. I just figured, man, I'm gonna just grow up here and stay here. This is where I'm gonna be. But I was crazy. I was crazy enough to go for it, to believe in myself. I want you to know that it's okay to be foolish and it's okay to be scared. Or if you have people think you're crazy, it's okay, because you just might be. And you just might be crazy enough to make it and make a difference in this world. We need difference makers. We need world changers. Be those people. Old people like me are depending on you. After leaving Truett-McConnell, like he said, I barely graduated from here, and then I barely graduated from the University of Georgia. Go Dogs, amen. But after leaving Georgia, I graduated. I'd spent a good 5 years of my life preparing for the next step. I had earned some degrees, made some lifelong friends, started a band. We called it Full Armor. We were huge. You probably heard of us. I mean, You never heard of us? Are you serious? No, we kind of sucked. But, sorry, did I say that? We weren't very good. Actually, we were kind of good. But anyway, people, you never heard of us. We were huge. The only huge thing really about our band was our hair. I mean, I had a mullet you would not believe. That thing should have been against the law. My band, though, had the opportunity a few times to open for a pretty popular group called New Song. At that time, they had a big song on the radio, and they were actually the first Christian concert I'd ever been to. So it was really awesome to have that kind of opportunity. In fact, one of the guys after a concert came up to me and said, man, what do you want to do with your life? I said, man, I want to do what you guys do. I want to travel and be on stage and be in a band, and really? Well, man, let me get your number. We might be needing somebody. I couldn't believe it. Oh my gosh. I gave him my number. A couple of days later, the phone rings. It was him. Hey man, this is Eddie with New Song, and I wanted to talk to you. Yes, sir. He said, so what do you want to do? You still want to do music? I said, yes, sir. He said, when are you graduating? I said, in a couple of months. Really? Well, that's awesome. That's when we're going to need somebody. I need somebody bad. I'm like, this is great. He said, man, would you be able to drive out to Atlanta and meet with us? I said, well, absolutely. Yes, sir. Man, we set a date. I got my mullet rocking. I put on my cool clothes. I am going out to audition for this band called New Song that had a hit on the radio. I drive out there. I sit down and meet with him. He's like, well, man, thanks for coming. Are you still want to do this music thing? You want to travel? I said, yes, sir. And you're graduating in a few months? Yes, sir. I'm ready. Well, man, that's perfect because I need somebody. Well, I need somebody to set up and tear down all this equipment. You see, Tori, our roadie's going to be leaving in a few months, and we're not doing this by ourselves, so we need you to set up and tear down all this equipment. What do you think? Well, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was, going to look like. And so he said, man, I'm going to call you in 2 weeks. Why don't you go pray about it? Why don't you go think about it? 2 weeks later, he called. He said, what do you think? And I said, I'll do it. Because during those 2 weeks, God kept telling me, go serve. Go serve. Everywhere I read, servant. When I prayed, serve. That's what God told me. So I jumped. I jumped into a thing that I had no idea what in the world I was jumping into. But I did it. I went from college graduate to band roadie, and it completely changed my life. See, this is what I'm thinking. If you want to play a game, go to where it's played and find a way to get in. Things happen when you get in the game. About 6 months later, after being in that group and traveling and being a roadie, something crazy happened. 2 of the guys in the band decided out of nowhere they were done. The next thing I know, Scotty, man, can you help us out? We're in a mess. Can you help us out? I said, yeah, I can do it. So then I found myself on stage in a band, signing autographs, making records, traveling the world, living the dream. I couldn't believe it. Abraham Lincoln said, I will be prepared and perhaps my opportunity will come. And boom, there it was. All those years of practicing, woo, you know what I'm talking about. There it was. And then the next step in my journey, people ask me all the time, third day, how did you meet Third Day? How did this happen? How did you get involved? Another Forrest Gump moment for me. I got married in 1997 to my wife, Dee Dee. We'd moved to Atlanta full time. She was at work and I was bored at home. I was off the road for a few days. So I got in my truck and I drove around. It was lunchtime. I was hungry. Pulled into a little Chinese restaurant, sat down at a table by myself. This is true. I can't make this up. Looked across the room, saw this guy. I thought, man, that guy looks familiar. I think that's that dude that sings in Third Day. So I told the waitress, I said, hey, I want to buy their lunch. And she goes, you know him? I was like, well, kind of, not really, but I want to buy their lunch. So I bought their lunch, ate my food real fast, went and said, hey, and left. 6 months later, somewhere in there, I get a phone call at my house. Hey, is this Scotty? Yeah, Scotty. Hey, buddy, this is Mac Powell. I sing in the band called Third Day. I don't know if you've ever heard of us. I said, dude, yeah, I know who you are. He said, well, man, we're kind of getting our thing going, and we signed a record deal, and we're getting ready to do a new record, and, man, we love what you do, and, what would you be willing to come play on the record and help us out and make a record? And I said, sign me up, brother. I'm there. So we hopped in the studio, and we just started to make some great music, and it was like, man, boom, I found my long-lost brothers. I jumped. I did it. I took a risk. I tried something different. There's so many moments like this. I mean, when I was here at Truett-McConnell College, and I moved down to Cleveland Courts right when they built it down there. Who's in Cleveland Courts? A lot of y'all, because you kept me up last night. Thanks a lot. I was in apartment 3. I'll never forget it. Every night, me and my roommate click on the TV, watch The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. A TV legend, an icon kind of show, just unbelievable. And I would think, my goodness, if I could ever play The Tonight Show, that would be like the biggest bucket list moment. Flash forward, I don't know, 15 years or so, and boom, I played it twice. Then there was that time I found myself in Baghdad, Iraq, in Saddam Hussein's palace, a castle in the middle of a war, in the middle of a desert. This is crazy. I was on a USO tour, I'll never forget. I was hanging out with this big old country dude who was a captain in the army from Mississippi, and he was showing us around this palace that was like the size of a mall. It's unbelievable. And I was talking to him about, man, you know, I kind of collect stuff unusual, and so I want to really find the right thing to take back from my experience here at, I'm in Saddam Hussein's palace, so I got to take something back. And he's like, well, let me think about it, man. And we walk up to the second, to the third floor, and the next thing I know, I start hearing this, and I turn around, and this dude's taking his steel-toed boots, and he's kicking down the wall of Saddam Hussein's palace, and it crumbles on the floor, and he picks up 2 big chunks, and he hands it to me, and he goes, dude, take that back to the house, courteous of the United States Army. I said, you dadgum right I am. And the person in charge of us who worked for the USO said, there's no way you're taking that back. They'll arrest you. And I said, no, they ain't arresting me. I'm taking this stuff back. I wrapped it up in my underwear and shipped it back to the house. Because I knew ain't nobody going to touch that. Oh, my gosh. Or most recently, another Forrest Gump moment. I found myself most recently on a movie set with Jennifer Garner in the movie Miracles from Heaven. I mean, what? How did that happen? The Lord has opened every door of opportunity in my life, and it's just been incredible. I can't make this stuff up, but none of this is caught God off guard. He knows. You see, I could never plan any of this when I was sitting where you're sitting. Your path at 22 will not necessarily be your path at 32 or 42. One's dreams is constantly evolving, rising and falling. You and I, even though our time here wasn't together, we were not held by the hand. We were not given a get-out-of-jail-free card or a free ride to Easyland. We were not coddled. We endured, and because of that, you guys are here today. You've emerged better read, more passionate than when you had begun. You've emerged as the smartest you've ever been. You're going to also have the most hair right now. You're the most engaged, the most creative, and the most sleep-deprived. But know this, let me tell you something. You can graduate from this amazing place with honors and with all A's, but you can still flunk at life. At any given moment, we are all one decision away from stupid. Don't be stupid. So the question of the hour is this: what can I share and how can I help you in the slightest way for whatever is coming next? Remember, don't take things too seriously, but we have to devote ourselves to doing things well and with excellence. But be careful, because if we do them too well, it may backfire, and you'll be forced to stand up in front of a room full of people and give a speech about it. Well, let me tell you, this life is not about me, and it's not about you. It's a big lesson that I've learned and continue to learn. It's about others. It's about serving. It's about doing your best and being prepared for that moment of opportunity. It's about focusing on the journey. That's how I got here. If it was about me, I would have never taken that job as a roadie. Because trust me, man, I wanted to be on stage in the lights, and I wanted to be the guy rocking. Be a servant. It's amazing what we can do for the kingdom when we don't care who gets the credit. I want to leave you guys with this. You all have now earned an amazing education, and this diploma does not represent the end of your education, but the beginning of your continuing education, because life is about to happen, and it's about to get real. And for a lot of you who are dying to get out of this place, listen to me. In about 8 months to a year, you're going to be wanting to get back in, man. Parents, you know what I'm talking about, right? You're going to discover some important life lessons that can't be taught from the pages of any book other than the Bible. So know God, So know God's word and stand on his promises. Let it be a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. My life verse has always been John 10:10, for the thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy. But I have come to give you life and life more abundantly. You know what I'm saying? Every day is a class with a new lesson, and it will give you multiple opportunities to put into practice what you've learned. I've heard people say the grass is greener on the other side, try that. I say the grass is greener where you water it. Plant yourself and let God blow you up and blossom you in your life. So let's get right to it. This is what I believe to be true. That diploma you're about to receive is more like a learner's permit for the rest of the drive through your life. So keep your eyes open. Know where you want to go. When the drive is taking longer and is harder than you imagined or ever thought, stay focused and don't fall asleep at the wheel. Watch for oncoming traffic and don't run out of gas. Don't be afraid to stop and ask for directions. Don't run red lights or stop signs. In whatever lane you're in, stay in it. Pursue the passion you've been called and created for. Don't worry when someone else is going faster than you or has a nicer car than you. Don't spend time looking in the rearview mirror, but instead look ahead at where you're going and where you want to go. And the single most important thing I want to tell you is this. If you see my tail on the side of the road, stop and pick me up. I'm out of here. Thank you so much, and congratulations to the class of 2016.